You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
That's right, and this is also the episode of Government Knows Best. That's right, in this case, the state of Colorado, who've been trying their hardest over the last 3-4 years to establish a new regulatory agency for homeowner associations, the Office of HOA Information and Resources. And they have been, just God bless them, they've been trying very hard to try and prove why they are needed and so important. And we're going to talk to you about that in just a moment. But just want to remind you that I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing soffits, fascia decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Give them a call at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give us a call at 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. That address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community association board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that's established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit CAIMN.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at CAIMN.com and click on Membership.
Our story today, we're talking about in the state of Colorado. They have the Office of HOA Information and Resources. It's a regulatory agency that's been started up by the state, maybe 3-4 years ago, because they feel that there is this great need for greater regulations for HOAs in their state. And I guess I'd like to go through what has happened with this illustrious agency from its very inception. And to me, as I take a look at it, if there has ever been a better example of the notion that we might indeed get to a point of having too much government, I don't know what it is other than this agency. Like I said, they've been trying to prove their importance for years. And what they're selling, the folks in Colorado just aren't buying. Well, let me give you an example. Back in 2010 in Colorado, there were some legislators that had been receiving a couple of concerns from constituents in their area saying they thought their HOA where they were living was just extremely unfair. Now, instead of trying to realize that there could be two sides to every story, that what the person's saying may actually be not taking place, but just a perception, they kind of started getting together and thought, you know what we ought to do? Maybe we need to have more regulations for HOAs in Colorado. And so they wanted to start the Office of HOA Information and Resources. And so they said, we're going to give you, we want you to sign up so we can be there for people. Well, people weren't signing up. They didn't see this need to do so. So what they did in 2010, the state legislature finally came up and they said, look, you have 1 year till March 1st, 2011, for every homeowner association entity, every corporation that's an HOA needs to be registered with the state with this office? And if not, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to let anybody sell their home in those HOAs where that HOA has not registered. So they put the pressure onto realtors in the state of Colorado, to closers and closing departments, and title companies saying, look, we need to find out whether this homeowner association where this person's selling their home has actually registered with the state. If they haven't, we're not allowing you to proceed with that sale. So kind of a strong arm approach, but they, needless to say, by March of 2011, they had everybody registered. And what did they find out? Well, they found out, we've got probably just over 2,000 some HOAs representing a little more than 2 million homes in the state of Colorado. Now the organization is set up, and of course, when people are registering, all of these 2,000 some HOAs had to pay a fee to the state. That's a part and parcel of registering. So there's a new income stream for the state of Colorado. And now they go forward the next year and they say, well, we want you to know we've established this for your own good because we know you need us. And so the Office of HOA Information and Resources, we're open to take calls. What are your concerns? What are you bothered by? And do you know, by the following year, March of 2012, the Office of HOA Information and Resources was able to give a report to the state legislature of what took place. And what do you think took place? Well, they received about 2,000 calls. Now, I don't know if you take a look at that and you say 2,000 calls. No, that could be a lot of calls. But if you translate that, what does that mean per day? Well, 2,000 calls over the case of a year is somewhere between 7 and 8 calls a day. Folks, I can tell you each and every one of the property managers working for me at New Concepts receives a lot more than 7 or 8 calls a day just from the homeowner associations that we manage and deal with. But this entire department for the entire state of Colorado received on the average 7 to 8 calls. Of these 2,000 calls, 75% of them were calls, and what were the questions that people had? Well, for 75%, it was, who are you and what do you do? And so nothing real pressing there. But about 25%, or about 477 calls, were people who actually had concerns. Now, the people who actually had concerns, I think it's safe to assume, don't you think, that not all of them would be accurate because, as I stated before, isn't there always two sides to every story? And someone says the HOA is just being dictatorial and they have too much power. And the reason in what they call too much power is they're saying if you have a dog, the dog has to be tethered. It can't be out loose running around, allowing to drop and do its business in any lawn in the neighborhood. That could be what we're talking about. But the HOA Office of Information and Resources wasn't trying to get into that kind of detail. They just said, we've got these calls. We've got these concerns. Now, you take a look at this 477 calls versus the 2 million people that live in HOAs. What are you talking about? You're talking about less than 200 thousandths of 1%. I mean, it is minuscule in terms of the number of complaints that people had for the people living in HOAs. Now, I think by and large, most of us do feel that if people aren't complaining, it's because they probably are satisfied with the status quo and how things are. But this government agency, now that it has become established, they can't say and come to the conclusion, no, you know what? We're actually not needed. No, they've got to push, and push they have. And they have pushed even further and further. And I'm going to tell you about what that is and what's entailed in their pushing. But we need to take a break right now, so let's do it. When we come back, we'll continue on with this story of the search of significance for the HOA regulatory agency in Colorado, trying to prove they're important.